So, thinking a little bit more about characters, every story has different types of characters. And usually we think about these in terms of main characters and minor characters. So, main characters are the most important people or characters in the story. Um, we call the hero of a story the protagonist. It's a word you might not have heard before, protagonist. Now, the hero doesn't have to be some big superhero or anything like that, but it's a main character that we're sort of rooting for, a character that we're really following throughout the story. And the antagonist is the person or thing that works against the protagonist. And this is where we see some of that conflict that I was talking about earlier. So the antagonist could be a person, or it could be something outside of a person, could be something like nature or like something else that's not necessarily a person or a character. And usually our main characters are dynamic characters. They change from the beginning of the story to the end of the story. Sometimes they learn a lesson, or maybe they learn a new skill, or they pick up something along the way in a story that changes them a little bit. Usually that happens for a main character. Other characters are less important to the story. They might interact with the main character, but we don't know a ton about them, and we don't really follow them throughout the story. So they probably play a pretty big role in the story, but they might not be around for the whole story, or they might not be a character who we follow too much. We usually call minor characters static characters because usually these are characters that don't really change in the story, if at all. Minor characters are often static. We might call them flat, we might call them one-dimensional, but from the beginning of the story to the end, they're pretty much the same. So think about that with some of these next questions.